I'm proud that these Australian bred and Australian raised cattle are going to feed Australian families. That really means a lot to me.
So Mick, how long have you been raising cattle for?
Basically all my life. My great grandfather came through in the early 1900s and actually cleared the land, literally over the back there. And then my father did the same, and my uncle, and yeah, it's just what we've always done.
Fourth generation?
Fourth generation.
Fourth generation. Your cattle are really calm and approachable and seem really happy. Like, just talk us through like how you do that and why the cattle are so friendly and calm.
Yeah, I guess if you don't stress them, if you don't chase them around, they come to accept you as, and you're feeding them, and they come to accept you as being all right. And genetics play a big part. I breed for the calmness of cattle. I can't be bothered having cattle chasing me around or causing trouble. So yeah, a bit of genetics and just how we go about doing things, just quiet and calm, and yeah, they respond really well to it.
If cattle are calm and less stressed, like the meat's going to taste better, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they're not stressed out, they're a lot calmer. They're not running around. They're not expending as much energy. So everything that they're eating is actually going into making them bigger, higher fat content, more marbling through the meat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a win-win.
Yeah.
Awesome. I get quiet cattle and you get good steak.
Good steak. Yeah. You're telling us before that your grandfather and your dad were raising dairy cows, but
yeah,
you said that you didn't want to go down the path. Tell me about that.
Dad asked me if I wanted to take over milking cows, and just no way.
Didn't like 3 a.m. starts.
Don't like 3 a.m. starts. I was 15 years old and we'd never actually been on a family holiday.
Yeah, right.
It was just milking cows.
Yeah.
Every day. So yeah, I thought, no, I like farming. I like the lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I also want to have a life. That was the generation. That's what you did. Yeah. Every day was a good day. So why'd you go on holidays?
What's actually involved in rearing cattle and raising cattle?
Depends on the seasons. So I calve twice a year, spring and autumn. So some people just calve either spring or autumn, but I like to have cattle available all year round.
Yeah.
So every day you're out checking, see how, if anyone's calved or if they haven't calved, and maybe they should have. Being South Gippsland, it's dry, like it's really, really dry.
Yeah.
So we've usually got grass and lots of it. So currently we're feeding a lot every day just to keep them in a prime condition. The cows, if they're skinny, they're not going to produce as much milk. They're not going to produce as good a calf.
Yeah.
So I just put the feed into them, and they look good, and the calves look pretty good as well. I've seen droughts before, so when I bought this place, I put a dam in every paddock. Some people sort of had a bit of a laugh at me about why would you spend that much money, and I've got water in every paddock now. Yeah. So having to check troughs and all that sort of stuff, and worrying about water is one thing I don't stress about. Just checking on them, keeping an eye on everything, and cleaning up, and yeah, looking after cattle.
You mentioned like that farming is not just about raising cattle, like it's also about land management. You've done a whole lot of things around your property to make it better. Like, talk me through what you've done and why.
One of the important things is soil health. So you can put on a lot of fertiliser, or you can actually get the microbes back into the soil growing, and the microbes help produce the soil. We use more organic sort of style fertilisers rather than synthetic fertilisers and things like that. Got the creek here behind me. That was all willows at one stage, and we got all the introduced willows out.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000 eucalyptus and tea trees and wattles that have gone in along the creek there.
That you've planted.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a job.
That was a job.
Yeah.
I did have a little bit of help from one of the community groups, actually my underwater hockey club.
Yeah, cool.
They came out and helped for an afternoon and put the last lot of trees in, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
I do a bit of beekeeping.
Yeah.
And I got a hive. I got 2 hives, and you can't really see them, but I've just planted them over there.
Yeah.
That was 12 or 18 months ago, and I've definitely noticed my clover has doubled.
Is that good
just
for the cows? Or is
Yeah,
that,
great for the cows.
that's great for the cows.
So much nutrient in
Yeah.
clover. You've got to be careful they don't eat too much of it. Yeah, there's more flowering, there's more leaf, there's more of it. Yeah, the bees have done a marvellous job of that pollination process. As long as the cattle don't upset the bees.
No.
That works well.
Yeah, so I mean, you go to the supermarket these days and you just cannot tell where your meat's from, right? It's just in a pack, it's on the shelf. There's a big advertisement around grass-fed, hormone-free. Like, what does that actually mean? Why would your cattle be better and different?
Good question. I guess it comes back to good genetics. They're top condition sort of cattle. They're gonna be less prone to having foot issues and calving issues and things like that. Grass-fed, it's the only way to go.
But
Really?
grass-fed doesn't actually mean grass-fed, does it?
Yeah, yeah. There's some marketing loopholes that have been going on around that, where they're grass-fed for 12 months and then they're grain-fed for the next 6 months or something like that. And it's like, it's sort of a bit cheeky, really.
Yeah,
Not
it's a
quite
bit
telling
cheeky.
the truth. So, yeah, no, these things have eaten grass, hay, and silage.
Yeah.
And all the hay and silage has come off of here anyway. Hormones, don't need them.
Yeah.
If an animal's sick, it's like your kid. If they're sick, you take them to the hospital. You wouldn't let your kids suffer.
Yeah.
So why would you let your animals suffer? That's it. Try to keep it simple. We're pretty spoilt here in South Gippsland. Like, we grow really good grass 9 months of the year.
I mean, you hear a lot about grain-fed, grass-fed. We've chosen that we just want to work with grass-fed farmers, but like, you eat what you produce. So yeah, tell us why you think it's better.
Taste.
Yeah.
Taste. And knowing, I know exactly what that animal has eaten its entire life. And it's grass. And it's grass that I grew. I'm not saying anything bad about grain or where it's come from, but I prefer the taste. It's definitely a more natural taste.
It's a more natural taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you reckon, as farmers pick and what we're trying to do, and like buying your cattle, it's going to be better than something you just get from the supermarket?
Ethically, as farmers, we owe it to the cattle. Like, they're bred for a purpose, but you want to make sure that every day they're here is a good day. As a friend said, your cattle have one bad day in their entire life. Every other day is eating grass and hanging out with their mates. And that's what I want. I could go bigger, but I think then I miss that care to detail, and being able to look at each and every single animal every day and make sure that they're healthy and they're being looked after. That's why I'm happy to put my name to it.
Yeah.
They've been looked after and they've had a great life. They really have. That's why I want to team up with you guys.
Yeah, epic. Like, if you ain't going to sell them to us, once they leave the gate, you have no idea where they've gone or what's happening to them.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You've got no idea where they go. They could be processed locally. They could be processed in Queensland for all I know. And once again, it's part of having them and wanting the best for them to know where they're going.
Yeah.
The end result's not the greatest, but you want to make it the best version of the end result that you can for them. I'm proud that these Australian bred and Australian raised cattle are going to feed Australian families.
Yeah.
That really means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I have the option of selling to China and like internationally,
Yeah.
and I prefer not to. I'd rather look after Australians and know that they're getting the best quality product that they can possibly get. That's what I want for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's what I reckon every other Australian should get.
I was in Queensland and we're out for dinner and we ordered oysters for the table, and one of the guys asked, where are the oysters from? And the waiter went, they came from the fridge. And I think that was just a great summation of, unfortunately, like, the food system that's been built. What are your thoughts on connecting, like, just regular Australians back to farmers? Like, I know there's a lot of support out there, but like, is that something that you feel, or it's just a bit sort of lost once the cattle leave?
It's definitely lost that connection. A lot of people forget how much hard work actually goes in, and to growing veggies and growing fruit and to producing meat.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, and hopefully something like this might be able to, people go, look, the cow actually came from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, not the supermarket shelf.
Yeah. Oh, look, it comes from South Gippsland. It'd be great if people actually had more of an understanding of the hardships that go on.
Yeah.
You know, when I say it's a drought here, it's dry here in South Gippsland.
You still got grass.
I've still got grass. I've got plenty of feed. We know it's going to rain.
Yeah.
But there's places in Australia where it doesn't rain. It doesn't rain for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And you know, the farmers are struggling, really struggling. That'd be good if that could be understood a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're down here in Gippsland, and you know, like the location that we're at now is going to be on the pack, and you're going to be on the pack. Like, yeah, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% back what I grow.
Yeah.
I feed it to my family. I feed it to my friends.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't think it was a top quality product, I wouldn't be doing it.
I've eaten it too for a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm pretty proud to be able to, you know, put my name, put my face on it, and back my product. 100%.